Hello and welcome back to the High Note Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Smith. It has been a while. Yes, it has. I hope you've been well. I hope your summer is going well. It's July right now when I'm recording this. July 10th actually is the day that I'm recording this intro. It's a beautiful day here in South Jersey. What have I been up to? Let's see here. There's a couple of concert blogs up there on the High Note. You can check that out at highnoteblog.com. Went and saw Dead and Company. That was absolutely incredible. And then Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks. Two great shows in Philadelphia. Before that, I was at VeeCon. And actually, after that, I saw Shaquille O'Neal with Shaq, DJ Diesel. If you ever get a chance to see him, please do. He was performing after a Phillies game and put on a great concert. Seemed super nice, super wonderful. So it's been a busy summer, seen some good shows. Hope you've been seeing some good concerts as well. Hope your life is full of good music. Before that, I was at VeeCon in Indianapolis, Indiana, hosted by Gary Vaynerchuk, where I saw, among other people, Busta Rhymes and Jordan Sparks, who I'm now a Jordan Sparks fan. Never thought I would say that, but she put on a great show. The conference was absolutely amazing. They had a great component there put on by Gala Music, which is an NFT platform. And NFT stands for non-fungible token. And we kind of get into this with this podcast here that I have with Valerie Ann, who is a singer-songwriter from Utah who I met at VeeCon, and she is one of the Gala Music artists. So what she does is she puts songs up on Gala Music, and people can buy NFTs of her songs to support her. Pretty cool. So we talk about that. We talk about the platform. We talk about her, how she got into children's music, which is what she writes. And we talk about basically where she gets her inspiration from, how she got into children's music. It's really cool. And I think one of the more interesting things is this NFT side of things, because I do a lot of NFT stuff in my other side of my life in photography and with my business work through marketing. But I don't really do much with the NFTs here on the High Note. So I'm interested to introduce you, my dear listeners, to the world of Web3 and NFTs through Valerie Ann, who I think is a great introduction to the world of NFTs. And also, her songs are absolutely amazing. So it's a great combination, and I don't think I've had a children's singer-songwriter on the podcast either. So we've definitely hit a lot of firsts here, which is awesome. So Valerie Ann, you can check her out. She is Songs by Val on Instagram. Her Twitter is _Valerie_Ann. And we talk a lot about her most recent track of Road Tripping. So you can check that out. I'm going to put a link in the show notes to the YouTube video, which I think is really awesome. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this podcast on whatever platform you're listening to it on. Give us a like, give us a comment too. That definitely helps. Follow me on social media at High Note Blog. Anywhere you do your social medias, it's just at High Note Blog. And again, highnoteblog.com is where you can read all of the blogs. So that's it for me. And without further ado, here's my interview with the incredible Valerie Ann. Valerie Ann, welcome to the High Note Podcast. How are you doing today?
Woohoo! Good. I'm very good. It's a sunny, beautiful summer day, and I have coffee, so I'm pretty happy right now. My kids are at the park. It's all good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful. Coffee and sunshine are two essentials in my life, so that sounds good.
I know. It's true. I've tried lowering my caffeine intake, but I don't know. I think I'm going to wait a little longer this time. I go through periods of time where I just kind of fast from from caffeine, and then I go hard again, and then I fast, and then I go.
It just tastes so good. I just love coffee.
I know, it's so comforting. Matchas are good too, though. Matcha lattes are kind of I know it's so basic of me, but they're so delicious, and they're so yummy and warm and sweet and green.
Now, as a singer-songwriter, do you have any particular like drinks or beverages that you're like, I have to have this before I perform, or anything like that?
Nah, just water.
Gotcha, gotcha. I can't remember. I interviewed somebody and they were like, I have to have the only thing in my rider is my tea. Tea and honey and lemon, I think it was, or something.
Well, that's good. That's probably something I should implement because I know that the honey is good. The lemon, honey's good for your throat and coats it. And yeah, I don't know. There are so many tricks and tips and stuff that I don't know. I should probably start asking other other artists.
And like some of it's like baseball where it's just superstition, like the brown M&Ms type of
Right,
thing.
right. Yeah, or you have your own little thing that you make up and becomes routine. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I recently heard a story where somebody received, I think it was 6 bananas and a bottle of tequila. that was
What?
that was what they got. That was what they got as part of their rider.
Oh man. I don't know. Tequila. Ugh. Like, I don't know. When I think of tequila, I just think of like, I don't know, like late high school years, like cheap, terrible tequila that you shouldn't be drinking. I grew up in Miami, and that's just, tequila is like a thing there. It's a big thing there.
So that's a great segue, actually. So Valerie, I met you in Indianapolis of all places at VeeCon. Uh,
VeeCon! So fun.
that's
So
so
fun.
cool. I'm actually wearing my Gala music shirt right now.
Oh my gosh, that makes me so happy. It's so cool. The color changing one.
Yeah, yeah, I get so many compliments on it. My wife will even say like, "Oh, it's half pink now. It's starting to turn
I
pink."
know. I don't know how they did it. I don't know what it is. I stained it the other day and I was super worried because I had to use like a stain remover. And I was like, oh no, it's gonna ruin the color changing effect or whatever. And it didn't. And I'm like, what
Wow.
is this magic substance? Like it's just magic. I don't even know what it is.
I gotta ask my buddy who does T-shirts how this magic works and how we can get this more of these.
I know, it's really cool. I think they did a great job. It was a really good idea on their end to make it color changing.
So I met you at VCon because you're performing. You're part of this Gala music, this Web3
Hmm.
group. So tell me a little bit about that, and tell me. I guess we can go all the way back to Miami if you want.
Okay. Well, those are two different things. Let me think. Where do I start? So, I'll start with Gala. I I think I just dropped my fourth road tripping was my last song that I dropped as an NFT on Gala Music. Um, and I've sold out of all of them, which is so
Wow.
crazy to me. It's so insane. And the first one I sold out in like 3 minutes. It was I couldn't understand it. I was not expecting that at all. I don't know. So it just blew my mind. And honestly, since I've been with Gala, I've just been on this like high of just making music and just feeling so much more encouraged and supported. Um, and just, I don't know, this like huge wave of inspiration just has been on me that kind of hasn't left since since that point. And I think it's just knowing that so each NFT, I think the first one was there was 150 that were minted. And I was like, how there's 150 people that like I don't know that support me enough to want to spend this money on an NFT. It just blew my mind. It blew my mind. And yeah, I'm still kind of, as you can tell, I'm kind of I'm still trying to process it. It's every single time a drop sells out, I have no words. I really have no words. But anyway, let me move on.
Oh, so no. Let me ask you if you don't mind. When was that first song that you released?
Oh man, I was hoping you wouldn't ask because I'm terrible with time and dates. It's really bad. I don't know. I don't know.
Approximate year would be fine.
Probably like probably like 6 months ago. Oh gosh, I'm probably so off.
Wow.
But it wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that long ago because each of my drops were a couple months apart. So, anyways,
And
yeah.
and how
So,
did you get into these non-fungible tokens?
okay. So basically, when I heard about Gala Music, I did not know what Web3 was in any way, shape, or form. I didn't even know what an NFT was. And my husband kept trying to explain it to me, and he was like, I don't understand, but it doesn't make sense. So I couldn't wrap my mind around it, but I knew that there was this platform where I could send my music, to, and that's all I really knew. And so I did that. And this was in the early, I maybe I got lucky, you can say. This was in the early stages of Gala Music, so they were just looking for anyone. Like they're just like, okay, anyone know musicians? Like sign up here, contact us here. And so I just kind of did that blindly and not really having a full understanding of what it even was.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
Um,
were you worried at all, like, or that you were signing away your rights, or you know what I mean?
no,
All
because by the time it got to that point, I had developed more of an understanding of what it was. And
awesome.
yeah, and the contract was, I mean, it looks great to me. And so far, so far, it's exceeded my expectations, like just Gala in every way, shape, and form. I don't know if you were able to meet Bucks, she's the CEO. She was the one in VeeCon that was in like the pink suit. She had like a costume kind of on Saturday. I don't know
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you.
She was hanging out like near the
Mhm.
booth, I think, or on that side of the
Yeah, so there
floor.
we go. That's the CEO of Gala, which by the way is a huge company because there's Gala Music, there's Gala Games, and there's Gala Film. Big, big, big company. CEO of Gala on the floor at VCon in a costume all day. She did not break character at all. Talking to people, hanging out with everyone, supporting the artists. Just, I mean, that says a lot, if you ask me. Because a lot of CEOs, wouldn't have that much involvement. And I don't know, her heart is just so invested in this project that it's so inspiring. Okay, so where
And
were we?
their
NFT
booth
journey.
was really great. Like, so I
Oh
just
my
signed up
gosh.
for an account and I got a really cool T-shirt. And then they had this sound booth. And then at
But
one
I
point,
mean, hold on, you have to talk about that sound booth. You can't just brush over the sound booth. It was so cool. Have you ever seen anything like that?
it was huge. It was the size of like a container, like one of those like shipping containers. It was really big. It was really big, right? I mean, it
Yeah,
was
so it was
large and clear.
right. Right. And they had that whole like silent disco kind of thing going on where you had to get headphones
Yeah.
to listen to what was going on in the studio. So just for listeners, like there you could just grab these headphones and see what it's like for people to be recording in a studio, like a professional, high quality studio right in front of your eyes. So, they would sing and they'd be like, okay, let's do that verse again. Let's add the harmonies. And I think for people that have never seen that or have never been in a studio themselves, it was such a cool experience. Um, just to witness all of that. I don't know how much time you spent, watching, but I was there basically all weekend. It was so fun.
I got to
It
see
was
a few
so
different
fun.
things. I got to see Jordan Sparks in there. I got to
Oh,
see
see.
a couple other performers as well.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and so some of the artists that basically won an opportunity to play in that studio um, at VeeCon, they weren't signed with Gala, or they're not signed with Gala, but they got to have their song. They were voted on by the community, and whatever song that they played in that booth, it's now on Gala Music. So I don't know. That's really cool. I kind of had this really cool opportunity just because they were voted in. But anyway, a lot of these people they've never even, a lot of these artists, they never have even recorded in a studio like that amazing. Not a lot, but I would say a few of them it was their first time ever in a studio, really,
That's such a
like that.
great
So it was
opportunity.
just I know, it was so cool. And, some people were kind of nervous, and that's why I love being in the crowd, just kind of supporting everyone and being on the other side smiling, giving a thumbs up and just jamming to their music. Oh, so fun. It was so fun. I loved VCon.
Oh, it was
Gala did a great
amazing.
job.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
Gala did a really good job.
all the performers were wonderful. And yeah, that booth, that whole area was really well done.
I know, and what was so cool too is that I got to meet some of the Gala community that I only ever have chatted with on Discord or like Twitter. I never actually met them, and these are people that have purchased, have bought my NFT, they have my NFT, they support me, they listen to my music. Like it's just wild. I got to meet them in person. It was so fun. It was so fun. And now I'm like still, and I met some people that fans that happen to live around me, and so we're still in touch. And We're going to be doing an event in like an NFT event. Well, not it's like an artist supporting artists event in August here in
Oh,
Salt Lake area.
awesome. That's
So
awesome.
I get to see them again, like all these people that I met at VeeCon. We're gonna meet again and just have a good time and continue the party.
Yeah. And for people who like don't know like about NFTs and stuff, what when you say people who bought your music or bought a song,
Right. Okay.
what do I get when I buy a song and what do
Yeah,
you get?
I know. And I probably shouldn't because they're not buying the song. I always say that wrong. They're just buying the NFT, right? So it's a digital collectible image. And um, so Gala, I I'll tell you what I know. I'll tell you what I understand. And hopefully people that are like really into it don't come at me because I like don't say it perfectly.
It's
So
all
Gala
good.
Music is a music streaming platform, kind of like what you would find on Spotify, except it's Web3. So there's this whole ecosystem involved in it. And basically, every artist that gets on there releases their NFT, right? Which is a specific tied to a specific song or track. Um, and anyone can purchase those. You don't even like you don't have actually now you could even purchase it with credit card. You don't even have to have like a Coinbase wallet,
Oh,
which I think you used to
cool.
have. Yeah, that's like a newer feature. And you just have it as you could have it just because you're a fan and you support the artist and you want to have this cool like kind of like if you were to buy something like merchandise from a artist. So you can have it like that and just collect it. But if you're actually part of the ecosystem, there's different levels, and you could get like rewarded for every time that that song is streamed on Gala Music. And so there are people that are called node owners, and basically, in the simplest terms, um, they basically have some computer power. That's the best way I could explain it, where they are streaming. Oh God, I'm messing this up so bad.
No, you're doing a great
I
job. I think you're
okay.
doing great.
So they are what's the word? Not streaming, but hosting. I guess hosting is a good word. They're hosting Gala Music, right? So all these different people are node owners, and that's what makes it decentralized. Does that make sense? Am I making sense, Sean?
Totally. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. And feel free to, you know, help me out here if you can say things better, word them better than I can. Um, right. So there's node owners, but then there's people that are not node owners. They just purchase the NFTs and, have those and collect those. And that's basically it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, totally. So like if I want to support you, because I can't go I can't easily go to Salt Lake to like see you perform or anything or like buy a t-shirt or whatever, so I can buy an NFT that supports you.
Exactly.
And then I could sell it too if I wanted to. I could
You
just
can
turn
sell
around.
it. Yeah, you can trade it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And then with that NFT, do you give like is there any Discord privileges or do you do anything special
yeah.
for your holders?
Yeah. And so that's what Gala is really big on that too, just this whole fan experience and connecting the fans with the artists. So we chat on the Discord all the time. I mean, at least I do. A lot of the other artists do too. Um, and they're opening the fan store pretty soon. I don't think there's a date yet, but basically, if depending on, I guess, I don't know, your level, I don't know how many NFTs of mine you've purchased, or if you're holding any themes on me, which is a whole nother subject, um, you get certain perks out of that. So I'm going to be offering some just really basic ukulele lessons to my fans. Like I would ideally I want it to be where it's like a kid and their parent do it together. And so that's one of my fan store experiences. Another one is like an opportunity to be in a music video. I'm trying to think of what some other artists are doing. I think some artists are doing VIP tickets to their shows or behind the stage stuff where you get to like meet and greet. So there's all sorts of experiences that you basically come up with Gala individually as an artist. So everyone has different things depending on what some people are writing. So actually, I think it's one of mine. I think one of mine is writing a song for a fan, like so I'll
Wow.
chat with them online and they'll tell me about, I don't know, whatever themselves or something that they want me to write with their dog, and then I will write and produce a song for them.
Oh,
So
that's
there's just
awesome.
it's so cool. Honestly, it's really cool. It's very different, I haven't really seen anything like this before. And I think I'm just so surprised, just caught off guard in the best way possible of about the community that I've made from Gala music. I would have never in a million years I thought that I would actually make a community like this online. Like I just didn't know it was possible,
That's so
So
cool.
yeah.
I absolutely love it. It really sounds like you're having a lot of fun with it. And it sounds like it's a win-win for both you and for your community, for your fans, for the people who like your music, or maybe people who want to learn a little bit. Because I know songwriters, when they do get together, like in a folk song society or a songwriting collective, they really do help each other out. It isn't cutthroat like maybe some people might think.
Yeah, and that's actually something that I have been learning myself really since VeeCon, because that's when I met a lot of connections, like other artists, and um, especially, oh my gosh, you met Emily, right?
Yes, of
She
course.
performed the PlayStation song with Jordan Sparks on stage, so she won an open mic contest with Gala, and that's what gave her the ability to perform that night at the VeeCon stage. Um, she is just so incredible, and her fiance Jay, who is also an artist, um, he does like digital art, NFT art, and he's also a musician. But they're great. Oh, they're so amazing. Um, but anyway,
I
I was
want
plugged
them.
in with like all these people
I
that are
want
like
them to
so
be on
supportive.
next. Yeah.
Oh, yay! I'm so happy to hear that. Um, yeah, but I met them and I was just like blown away again. I was like, these people are so supportive. Like these are the artists, these are the musicians that like I want to be, you know, involved with. Like they're just so incredible. And I never had that. I So here's my here's my story. Okay, so I grew up in Miami. That's where I'm from Florida. So I wrote my first album I wrote actually in college. And I kind of just left my album. Like I made it and I posted it up on, all the normal places. And then I just kind of forgot about it. Like I didn't know how to really market myself. I didn't really know other people that were doing that. Like I wasn't in a community of people like that. I don't know why. I just wasn't. And so I didn't know what to do. I was just so clueless and I just kind of left it. And it did pretty well for not doing anything. Um, and so I was able to make, I would still get a check every now and then from Spotify, which is ridiculous, by the way, because you get like pennies, right? Or like less than pennies for like a stream, but somehow I was still able to make like a couple hundred.
And what
Um,
kind of music was it?
oh yes. Oh my God, we haven't brought this up. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I write children's music. But my main focus is really to write music that parents can enjoy too with their kids. So I try not to be too uh I don't know, how people could talk to kids like in a different way, or kind of like it's very obvious when it's a kid song and you kind of get annoyed by it because it's kind of repetitive. So I try to please everyone in the sense that my music can be enjoyed by the kids and the adults, and different aged siblings, right? So that's
Sure.
my approach to
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
and I guess the only word that I can describe for like the bad way is like kiddie type of music, or like this, or like
Hmm.
talking to a kid in like a kiddie tone, where it's like that kind of
Right.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
talking
I'm like, what's
down,
the, uh-huh. Like,
like kind of like
hey,
small. Yeah,
kid.
yeah, like kind of like talking small, like. But how did you get into children's music? Because I think that's like it's a cool genre that like probably doesn't get as much love. Like I love it I really became fascinated with it from the Philadelphia Folk Song Society and the Folk Festival, because they have
Oh, I love folk.
um like they just would bring in artists like Kimya Dawson. I saw perform there, and like she
Mhm.
does a lot of kids music, but she also does like a little bit of like kind of political stuff and some folk stuff. And then they have a whole kids area where
Oh, I
it's
didn't know that.
like,
That's awesome.
yeah, they where they do like juggling, and they'll teach kids how to juggle. Then they have a kids stage where they do everything from like puppeting to like, just specifically kids music. So I got into it probably like right after college, like right around like 22 was when I started to like really give it like the respect that it deserves. So how did you like fall in love with kids
That
music?
that's really cool. First, I would just like to say that I love when festivals or just events include kid stuff like that because it's just so needed, right? And I just love when, and now I'm a mom and I have kids, and it's like I want to go somewhere where I could just have a good time and my kids could experience that too, like in a festival setting. Like that's amazing. I love that so much. Okay, how did I get into it? So I have always liked nursery rhymes.
Oh, cool.
I love like folk songs or like nursery rhymes, and I've babysat since I was really young. I studied education. I always was with little kids. It was just something I was always really good at. Um, and then in college, I worked at a preschool, and they were having some trouble with the music teacher there. So she ended up being fired. And my director at the time, she knew that I was musical. I was playing the violin in college. I would sing with the kids all the time. And she's like, "Hey, can you be the music teacher?" And I was like, "Are you sure?" And she's like, "Yeah."
Wow.
And I was like, "Yeah, I can. Yes, I can." And then I just kind of researched all these, different methods and ways of teaching music to young kids. And then I came up with my own curriculum. And then it turned into my own business. I ended up offering after school music and movement classes to preschoolers and kindergartners um, for a couple years in college. And it was awesome. It was very successful business for my first business.
Wow.
I was
That's
able to move out of my parents' house, which is really cool in college, and I was able to pay for it myself, and like I felt so cool. So it was good, yeah. So that's how I got. Oh, okay, wait, that's not how I wrote my album. Okay, so that whole time, I guess that kind of built my confidence in like, hey, I'm awesome with kids, and for whatever reason, they really like me, and they respond well to music, and music is really fun. So I just kind of combined all those things. And I remember being with a kindergarten class. Yeah, they were the older kids, and they were singing uh the Kesha song. That's what was out. It was I wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. All right, guys. And they knew all the words. They knew
of
every single
course.
word. Right. But at the same time, like just moments before, they were with singing and dancing to like these playful, maybe more age appropriate songs, right? And I was like, oh, well, something kind of happens in that age range, like starting around kindergarten, where they start to kind of get away from the typical nursery rhymes, oh, McDonald had a farm, all that stuff. Like they're kind of over that. Um, but then there's nothing else really for them except for what they would hear their parents maybe listening to on the radio, which probably isn't common anymore, but back then people would still listen to the radio.
Totally.
Um, and so that's what inspired me to write music for that middle range, I guess you would say. Uh, yeah, because it's, it just feels different. Songs for preschoolers feels a little different than songs for kindergartens, first grade, second grade, the elementary aged kid. It's just different. They don't want the same stuff. They start to say like, hey, that's for babies. Hey, that's cheese. You know what I mean? They start to pick up on that stuff and they want something new.
Oh yeah.
And so that's where my music came in.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That fills like a really big gap, you know?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Exactly.
And it sounds like you kind of had a dream job too, right? I mean, like you're teaching music, and then like
I
you have the
know.
business, and then so you would you wrote these songs while you're doing all of this?
Yeah. Well, I will say I took a long time to finish college because I changed my mind a lot. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was also working like two jobs in between school. So I it took me a long time to finish. So I did have a lot going on, but I also took a long time to finish. So there's my there's my reasoning.
That's all
And I
good.
ended up, yeah, like I changed I was like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Then I wanted to do music therapy, and then I wanted to do performance, and then I was like, performance sucks. I never want to do this again. Um, and then I just ended up actually with a child development degree in the end. So it was kind of this like huge adventure. Oh man, it
But
was a
did
mess.
but did
It
you
was a mess.
always have this idea for this album, like cooking, like or like these collecting these songs?
So it's so weird how it happened, Sean. Like it just I told you I'd played the violin, and other than that, like I didn't consider myself a vocalist or anything. I never really performed singing. I never sung in a studio or anything. And I just wanted to learn the ukulele. And so I picked up a ukulele and I was just learning at home. And as I was learning the chords, I would make up the melodies or the songs to go with it. So it just kind of came, like it all came together just really fast, honestly, and really easily. Like it surprised me too, because I had never really written a song ever. I don't think I've ever written a song until that point. And actually, the first song I ever wrote was "Adventurous," which is the main song on my first album, and that was like one of the more popular ones. So
Wow.
it just happened. That's the only way I know how to how to explain it. I still don't understand it. It just there it is. It was there,
You
and
just
then I
found the
recorded it, and then
you found
and
the
that's why
right
I didn't
outlet.
really. Right. And that's why I didn't really know what to do. I was like, all right, cool. I made it. I recorded it. And then I was like, I guess I'll do something else now. And I kind of just left it alone for a while until many years later. And then I always had wanted to do something with it. And I didn't know what, or I don't know. I moved to California and like, got married and had kids. And like, there's just so many things, different life changes and trying to figure out what I wanted to do and who am I and all these crazy things. And then Gala music, I found out about Gala music, and then I was like, you know what, this is it. This might be an opportunity for me to give this a second shot and to actually, be super invested in it and just pursue it in a serious manner and see where it goes. And I think it all worked out so perfectly in retrospect because when I think back of like where I was back then, just like as a person and mentally and everything, it was just I don't think I was there yet. I don't think I would have had the guts really, because it takes so much guts to put your music out there. I don't think I had the guts to be in such vulnerable situations that I feel like I'm in now. Maybe they don't feel vulnerable for everyone, but for me, they certainly do. I don't like to put myself out there so much. And I'm pretty introverted, which really surprises people because I'm really social. But it's hard. It's hard for me to write music and be like, "Hey guys, world, universe, what do you think of this? Like, do you like this?
Totally.
Do you like, I just poured my heart out in a song and you might hate it and I love it." And just building that uh confidence in myself to be like, you know what? I created this. That's freaking cool. Like people might like it and some people might not like it, and that's okay. I'm still gonna put myself out there. I would have never done that a few years ago. No way.
Wow,
No
that's
way.
great. S- So where are you
Yeah.
finding inspiration for your songs now? Now you're in Utah. Um,
Hmm.
where do you find the inspiration to write the next song?
Well, right now I'm actually in a group. It's called 50 Songs, and you have to write a song a week for 50 weeks. So it's
Wow.
like an accountability group. Um, and I was terrified to join that because I was like, but what if, what if I can't do it? What if I don't know. I was just really worried of failing, I guess. So it was a big decision for me to commit. And so far we're halfway through and I've been writing a song a week and it's been really fun. And what ends up happening is that it's due Saturday at like 10 or something. And the song
Oh,
ends up being written like just a couple hours before that point because that's just how life works, right? Like when we started, I would spend a couple of days writing the song, and then as time went on, it was just like, oh, hey, I have an hour, let's go, let's pump this song out. And so that's been really helpful for me because I feel like I would get so stuck on it. Like I would just stay on a song for too long or overanalyze it or just, oh, whatever. I don't have to, if I didn't finish a song, it's like, I don't have to finish it. I'll just finish it when the inspiration comes. But now it's like, no, man, you got to finish that song and you got to turn it in at 10. So you better finish it now. And it's amazing to see that I actually can. Like I guess I work well under pressure.
We all do. Okay, a deadline
I know.
helps.
Yeah, I guess I work well under pressure. So I've made some amazing songs. Road Tripping, which was my last release, that's not only on Gala, it's also everywhere else, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon. That was one of the songs I wrote in 50 songs. So, and I have such a different, my music now is so different, right? Because I wrote that first album so long ago. I'm such a different person, and my songwriting is just better, and I'm at a different place, and the music is just so different now that it's been interesting to observe because I have so many feelings about it, right? Like I'm like, well, it doesn't sound like it used to. Are people gonna like it? Are they still gonna respond well to it? Are kids gonna like? I have all these the normal fears that come up when you're in this process. But I also think that's kind of just a reflection of me coming to terms with like just being myself openly and like finding the I don't know, just being okay with it. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and I definitely
Yeah.
would encourage you to continue to be fearless because I absolutely love your music, especially Road Trippin' is really cool. It's more, well, I don't think of it as a children's song. Like it's almost kind of
Right.
like maybe it's just the nature of the song. It's kind of like a family song. Like it's kind of like
Yeah.
it would be. I mean, you hear singer-songwriters or like, bands will write songs about their family members, about their daughters, about their loved ones, and they're just about parents. And it's just in the song. It's just or in the album. It's just on the album. It fits in. Maybe it's more of a ballad. Maybe it's more of a sentimental song. Whatever. But like, it's just a song. It's just a song. And I feel like that
Yeah. Maybe
Road
I should
Trippin'
say
is.
that. Maybe I should say family music more.
Well, like genres. I mean, as somebody who writes about music and has for 10 years, and like has been doing this podcast, I mean, like genres are just silly. I mean, it can't.
I know.
It's just so hard to be like this is this, and like even as somebody who loves folk music, like that's even like you're crazy to really like pigeonhole and like be like, oh, so
hmm
like what, because like at the folk festival they started performing doing more hip hop stuff, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
That's
That
cool.
like,
I know. I think things are, they're changing. I really do. I think people are not putting other people in boxes as much as they used to. And I think, especially, it used to be everyone's dream, every artist's dream to sign with a label. And now nobody wants to sign with a label because they suck. Not all of them, but I'm sure like a lot of like you get the short end of the stick, right? And they kind of tend to put you in a box. It's like this is what you have to do and you can only do this and you can't explore other ways of being or different types of music. Like you have to fit this very specific image. And especially with Gala music, I see that this is not the case at all. An example of that is just Shockey, who was another performer at VeeCon, who
Yeah.
also won the chance to collab with Jordan Sparks. Like he was in the studio with Jordan Sparks writing a song. Like it's crazy. I can't believe his life right now. But anyway, his first drop on Gala was Who Cares, which is the song he performed at VeeCon, which is super good. More like acousticy kind of, I don't know what you would call it, but um and then his second drop was Picasso, and it was more, I don't want to mess up the genre, I don't know, but there was like rapping in it and stuff. So it was such a different vibe, so different. They both sold out, and nobody was like, wait, you can't write that music. Your first song was acoustic, and this one's like, auto-tune rapping stuff. Like, we don't accept it. No, people don't care. They just want to know, like, is your stuff good? Do we like your music? And really, honestly, who are you as a person? People tend to be more interested in that now, which I love getting to know.
And the authenticity, think of an
Yeah.
artist that comes through that I think that an art or the audience resonates with. It's like, are you being real with me?
Right, exactly. And so that's cool. I like that. I dig that.
Yeah, and I kind of got that in road tripping. Like I felt like road tripping was a lot of fun. Like I felt like, did you have fun? Well, first,
Oh,
like you said, you wrote it for your 50 songs. So, did you know right away? Like, were you like, this is fun, or you're just like, thank God I got this done?
no, I that was one of the ones where I was like, oh, I like this one. Because some of them you make and you're like, well, I don't know, it's okay, whatever. I'm just gonna turn it in. But that one, I was like, oh, I love this. This one's so good. I'm definitely gonna record this one. And even my husband too, he's like, oh, this one's so good. And like I got a lot of feedback from the group members on that one. And I was like, okay, I guess this will be the first one that I record as far as like what 50 songs, as far as the songs that I wrote on 50 songs. And now I just have so many that I like that I'm just like I don't even know where to start. Because I have music that's more clearly for children. It's about like one's about like riding your bicycle and learning how to ride a bicycle and how freeing it feels when you first get on that bicycle. And that's inspired by my daughter who's just learning. She's 3, so she has like have you heard of balance bikes? We didn't have them
I
when we were younger.
we did not, but I have heard of balance bikes and I see them all over, and they just
Yeah, they're
it's so
so cool.
intuitive, right? It makes sense.
Exactly. Right. And it's supposed to train kids to balance on the bike before they get into a real bike. So it kind of eliminates the need for training wheels. Anyway, so just watching her on her balance bike and how much she's improved and she goes so fast. And I think I remember that feeling of feeling so free, you're riding bike and like you're far away from your mom and she's telling you to stop, but you keep going because you don't have to stop. So,
Totally.
so that song was inspired by that. So that's more clearly for a kid. And then I have a song that's about loving your pockets, and that was also inspired by my kids because they love putting things in their pockets. Like I'm, doing the laundry and I'm taking acorns and rocks and like trash out of just one pocket. So the song is about things that you put in your pocket. So those are more clearly for kids, right? And then I have other songs that are more family songs, like road tripping, that you can't even tell. You kind of listen to it and you're like, wait, is this for kids or for grown-ups or I don't know. Oh, it's just a song. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a variety and different styles too, even like kind of hip hoppy, which is kind of funny for me to say because you probably wouldn't expect that, but
No, it's great.
yeah.
I mean, it's all part. I mean, we all kind of grew up with it. You know what I mean? Like we all grew up with especially now. Like you can kind of just like YouTube anything and get I always when the kids nowadays are like getting emo and like Marilyn
Mhm.
Manson like inspiration, I'm just like that was really big when I was a kid, but like I guess it makes sense because that whole like everything now they're just looking at the 90s, right? Like the 90s are really
Mhm.
popular, so it's like what was really popular back then, and it's just like yeah, okay, these things were really popular, so they're getting all of those influences as well, and then I hear that and I'm like, oh, I like this, but like I like this because I can hear like a little bit of that inspiration back there. It's kind of cool, you know.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Well, and there's what's cool too, I'm just thinking of road tripping is that, or on all my songs that are on Gala, is that I have people messaging me telling me that they listen to my songs all the time, and these are just like grown-ups, adults without kids, or that have kids that are like teenagers now, and they're like, your music makes me smile. And I'm like, oh my
Oh
God, I love
wow.
that so much. It's so that's that's amazing. Like that is enough for me to want to just keep doing what I'm doing. If I could make you smile, then yes, I won. You know what I mean? That's
Oh
great.
yeah, yeah, that's tremendous. I mean, like, and as long as you're having fun with it too, like, and I like the you didn't mention that there is an awesome video that goes with Road Trip, and that's also on YouTube. I think it's on
Yeah.
YouTube. That is fantastic. So tell me about how did you,
Oh,
and are there like now are you like have to do a music video for every song now? Is this like a new trend? Are you gonna
well,
try to one up every one of them? Because that's a really cool video. I'll link it up in the show
yeah.
notes.
Thanks. I I'm so happy with how that music video came out. And actually, yes, I do want to. I do want a music video for basically all my songs. And the reason is because I just think that kids really like music videos. Like they respond uh, better to that. I feel like they would watch music videos more than just listening to a song. So I think it's a really good thing as an artist that makes music for kids and families to have music videos. So I'm definitely, that's the goal. That's what I'm trying to do. Road tripping. Oh, okay. Where do I start? So I wanted this awesome VW camper van in it. And we were looking up like the cost of it, like where could I even rent it, like how much would it, oh my gosh, it was just impossible and so expensive because I guess they're just really cool trendy cars. Everybody wants one, right?
And rare, yeah.
And they're so rare. And I was like, this is impossible. It's like thousands and thousands of dollars for a music video. And I'm like, I don't have that budget yet, maybe one day. So I was like, you know what? We will find another way to make the video. And originally we wanted to actually road trip. Me and my husband were like, why don't we take like an actual road trip and get like awesome shots and use that, kind of as B-roll.
Oh, cool.
And right, so we didn't end up taking the road trip because we have two toddlers and we're like, actually, how this is panning out in our mind is not how it would actually work out, like like we have to watch the kids, they can fall off cliffs, we can't be filming. Oh, so my husband filmed the video. I didn't mention that.
Oh, wonderful.
My husband, yeah, so he's a videographer. So he's the one with the camera. So we technically had that flexibility, but not because we realized it wouldn't work with the kids. So we're like, you know what? We live in Utah. Our backyard is mountains and it is so beautiful here that nobody would even know if we didn't take a road trip because we just have to drive the car into the mountain and it's the same. So that's what we did. And it kept it easier and less stressed. And it actually ended up still being super, super awesome. Like it looks like we were road tripping, right? Like you saw the music video.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It totally looks legit. Okay, so the day that we were looking at spots to film, we were scouting the area, trying to find different spots that we stumbled upon the van that's in the video. It's a green camper van, right? Volkswagen camper van. And I was like, that's it. I was like, that's the video. I told my husband, that's the van that's the van I want in the video. That's the van that's supposed to be in the video. And he's like, okay, should we go like see if the people are around? And I was like, well, you know what? Let's just take a picture next to it for like inspiration or whatever. So we took a picture and like we didn't see the owners and we just kind of were on our way out. And then the owners came up and it was this nice, super nice couple that live in the van, which is super cool. And we started chatting with them and I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. I was just taking pictures like a weirdo with your van. And they're like, oh, we're used to it. Like everyone is always stopping them for their car because it's just this like vintage, beautiful camper van. It's just amazing. And so I asked them, I was like, I'm just going to ask them, whatever. Like, I'm like, hey, I'm making a music video. And if you guys are going to be here over the weekend, can we film with it? And I offered, to pay them or like bring them out to lunch or anything. I was like, just anything, whatever it takes. And they were so nice about it. They're like, for sure, like 100%, we're going to be right here and you can find us here.
Wow.
And so we were not intending on filming that soon, and we ended up filming that soon because we wanted the van in there. So
deadlines are good.
Yeah, right. So we just did it, and we honestly, I don't know if I should be giving this all away, but we basically improvised because the storyboard that we had, it just threw out the window once we were able to use that van. So we just got as many shots as we could in like an hour because we didn't want to take up too much of their time. And they didn't want anything in return. They were just being nice from the kindness of their heart.
Wow.
They let us use their car and he even drove it around for me and let me sit in the passenger seat to take some shots. They were so amazing. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. I felt so grateful, and I am so grateful to them even still. Because that made the music video. I think it made the music video super cool.
It's so cool. Yeah, it definitely tied the whole thing together. The universe works in wonderful ways like that.
Exactly.
That is so awesome.
And then we just filmed the rest like around that footage, basically.
Wow, that is so cool. I absolutely love it. So do you have a scheduled drop? Do you have any alpha, as we would say on Twitter Spaces, anything that we can tease out there to let people know maybe what they can expect in the next few months or so?
Yeah, well, I have some collabs I'm working on with some
Ooh,
people that
collabs.
Gala people would know.
Wow. All right, collabs are
So
awesome. And
yeah,
you
but
have
nothing.
not done collabs yet, right? So this is a new.
Right. I know. I
Wow.
went from not ever collabing with someone to now I'm just like, oh my God, there's so many people now that I could collab with and we're making stuff happen. So, but nothing's been produced yet. So I'm trying to figure that out now. I'm in the process of finding like a new producer for this song that I'm dropping because it's very different feel, which I love. The producer that worked on Road Trip thing was so good. Like, I think he did a great job. But this is more of a different vibe, so I'm gonna look for the perfect producer for that. So hopefully something comes up, just like the camper van, right? I'll
Awesome.
just be here
Yeah.
waiting for an awesome producer to show up. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and so right now since I just sold out of road tripping, I produce a new song after every sellout because that's where I get the money to produce the next song. Yeah, so a I have a couple songs and right now I can't give any definite dates yet because I'm still in the process of figuring that out, but I'm 100% cranking out more songs in the near future.
Oh, that's great. That is awesome. I love to hear that. Don't rush the process. You know what I mean? You got to
Right. Well, I
find the
want a
right
video for
producer
all
and
of it too, so that
of
takes time too.
course. Of course. Of course. And yeah, so was there anything that I didn't ask that you think that I should have asked?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, that's awesome. And where
Yeah.
we didn't mention, so website, social media, where can we connect with you?
So on Instagram, I'm at Songs by Val. And then Twitter, I'm underscore Valerie underscore Ann. And that's basically where I'm at now,
Awesome.
mostly. Yeah. And you can get all the links there for like the YouTube videos and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, and we'll link up your Gala music profile as well. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I ask every single guest three silly questions. So I hope you'll indulge me if that's okay. Awesome. So I'll take that as a yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for
so
sure. I like silly stuff.
so first question is, what was the first album that you either received as a gift or went out and bought?
Okay. First would probably have to be Spice Girls or Britney Spears.
Wow, wow,
Yeah.
both good choices. Do you remember? So like
Oh yeah.
Britney would have been.
Wait, hold on. Spice Girls was a tape. It wasn't a CD, so does that
Oh,
count? It
yeah,
was
oh,
like a
totally
cassette tape.
counts. Totally counts. Yeah, album. This will do everything.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
so Spice, was it Spice World? Which one was it? Was it Spice Up Your, what
And
was
the
the
one that
first one? Spice Up Your Life?
I don't even know the different albums. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I know all the Spice Girls songs because I was really into them. But
Yes.
there were, I don't know, it was one that like I remember I listened to some of the music recently and I was like, whoa, this one's not appropriate for kids. Like I had no idea, you know? I just
Listen,
didn't know.
none of that was appropriate for kids.
I know, right? Oh, I love the Spice Girls. And like all my friends we would always pretend to be, and they always named me Ginger Spice because I had red hair, but I always wanted to be Baby Spice. And I was like, okay, fine.
Oh, that's awesome. So have you like, because they just went on tour again, didn't they? Or they just announced they're going to go on tour? I think I heard some Spice Girls news recently. Yeah.
Oh, I have not heard anything. That would be very interesting. I would like to see that.
Yeah, I think it was Sporty Spice, the one that was like not in the last tour. I think she's going to be in the new
Right.
tour. I think I just
Oh,
heard that.
cool. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Or I don't
Wow.
know if it's a tour or if it's going to be like one of those
Like a
like
show. Yeah.
residencies. Yeah, where they'll do like the O2 and maybe they'll do like Vegas and like Madison
Oh,
Square
I'll tell you
Garden
what I
type of
want, what I
thing.
really, really want.
So I'll tell you what I want, what I really,
What
really
I really,
want.
really want. Yeah, I mean, I was so young too, so I don't know. We would get like those books, like they would make books with like all the pictures of them from like
Yeah.
their movie. It was
Yeah.
just so cool. They were so cool.
Oh man, yeah, my wife is gonna love that answer. She'll be
Yay.
and her friends too. Heather, shout out to Heather, who just relocated to North Carolina. She will love that
Oh,
answer. Yeah, Heather is
yay.
my Fish concert buddy. So she went to the last two when Fish played in Atlantic City the last two summers.
Nice.
So yeah, she's a good concert friend and a good friend overall. So I gotta find a fish show in between or something so we can reconnect. So second silly question: what was the first concert you ever attended?
Okay. Um, Spice Girls.
Really? Oh yes, that is awesome. So
Yeah, yeah,
so
it was
help me,
Spice Girls.
put me there.
My friend's mom, it was like her birthday, and I always had like friends that just had awesome birthday parties.
Yep, yep.
I guess. And so she invited some of the friends, and we were like, wow, like all the way in the back, like so far, but it was my first concert experience ever like that. So it was really cool.
Were you in Miami at this point?
Yeah, I was in Miami, and I think the concert was probably somewhere more north. I don't even know.
Sure.
I was at that age where you just kind of like get in the car and go wherever they go.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
you just like don't even. Do you remember,
yeah.
besides being all the way in the back, do you remember anything specifically from the concert or anything?
Um, no, I don't. I see it visually. Like I see where we are. We were like on the grass, and I could see all the audience, and I could see the Spice Girls that look like little ants from so far away.
Wow.
And that's basically all I remember. But that's funny because when you brought this up, when you first asked me what my first album was, what came to my head was Regina Spektor because that was my first
Whoa.
album as like
Whoa.
like in high school that really influenced me. And then
Wow.
she was also my first concert, I guess you can say, as a high schooler or like, a college student. I don't even know. It might have been college. Um, so yeah, Regina Spektor I love her so much.
We could just do a whole podcast about Regina Spektor. I
I
love
know.
Regina
I love
Spektor.
her. Yeah, and then when I first heard her music, it was the first time I had heard something so like different, because I was just used to whatever was on the radio.
Yup.
And so her stuff really stood out to me. And her older stuff, it's kind of weird, right? Like she
Oh
she would do
man.
like stories and come up with, I don't know, all sorts of things. And it blew me away. I loved it so much. It was so intriguing to me, and I loved it. I loved her so much, and
Oh
she's still
yeah.
great. I
It's
think I've gone
like
to three of her concerts.
really? Oh, wow. I'm so
Yeah.
jealous right now. I'm so jealous. She is like one of my favorite all-time singer-songwriters. I would love to have her on the podcast someday. Maybe I
Oh
should just
my
reach out
gosh,
to her.
yes. Oh,
Like
that'd be so fun.
she is like, yeah, and like yeah, the way she would use the piano to create
I
rhythms
know.
that are just like really off key and then like yeah, wow. Yeah, that Begin to Hope album was like I listened to
Oh
that a
yeah.
lot, but then yeah, I went back to that Soviet Kutch or
Yeah,
whatever
yes,
album.
yes,
That
yes.
album that is just crazy. And I think
I
those were
know.
like in the I had this album or this program called MyTunes on my computer in college, and what it did was it searched the entire network that you were connected to, and anybody who had iTunes, you could just download their songs, right?
Oh, that's so funny.
So yeah, it was totally legal and like, but it was my favorite thing. So I would go to the library, I would go everywhere, and I would just like bring it up and like yeah, and I would get like the most obscure like rare demo like song versions of songs that were just so cool. And I
That's
probably
awesome.
still have some of those Regina Spektor ones too. Yeah.
Yeah, the one that's coming to my head now is the one that she would play like a note on the keyboard, and she had the drumstick in the other one, and then I think it was like poor little rich boy, all the couples have gone. Do you know that one?
I think I do know
They need
that
to go
one.
home. They don't want to be alone. Yeah, so good.
Oh
Yeah, and so that was the first time I was exposed to anything that was so just not mainstream, like alternative.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I loved it. I loved it. I
That
love
was
her.
back when
She's
indie was a genre,
right,
right?
right. Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's so
I
cool.
she's the best. So good. So good.
Wow. Wow. Awesome. So this is the last silly question. Wow, I can't believe this. I could talk to you for hours about
I got a
Regina
lot.
Spektor and about ukuleles and about all sorts of things. But Valerie Ann, it's just been an absolute pleasure. I really am just thank you. I thank the universe that put us together, that we met. Thank Gary V for putting us
Woo!
together. This has been absolutely awesome. So last silly question is, what is your favorite soundtrack or score from a movie? No musicals. That doesn't count.
Oh, okay. Soundtrack or score from a movie?
But it could be like a musical movie. Yeah, I don't want to give you too many loopholes here, but there are rules here, dude. This is not bowling. This is not Nom. This is bowling. There are rules.
Nothing is coming to my head.
That's okay.
I
You
can't
take
think
a
of
minute.
anything. I might need you to start like name calling some
And it could be
movies.
a movie that like is about music. You know what I mean? Like I just quoted Jeff Bridges. So what did he do that song, or he did that movie Crazy Heart? So like, that could be your favorite soundtrack from a movie, like even though it's a songwriting movie where he like is performing a lot of songs in it, that type
Well,
of
I'll say
thing,
what comes to my head is Grease, and I think that's just because it was my first like musical movie
Wow.
experience.
Grease? Really? Grease? You're gonna hit me with Grease right now? Right after I
Yep.
liked you, after I like thought that we were friends, after like all of
I think
this.
of like
I think
all
Grease
the
might be the
dancing.
I think Grease
So
might be the
fun.
reason I don't like musicals.
I'm so sorry.
No,
That is
no,
the
I
only
love it.
thing that is coming to my head.
No, I just like,
Actually,
please
no, that's such a lie. Hold
help me
on.
love
Hold on.
Grease.
What am I talking about? Mary Poppins and Sound of Music were my first like movies like that.
Oh,
Obviously.
Mary Poppins has a hell of a
Mary
soundtrack. I
Poppins is
mean,
so good.
I
So good.
I mean, yeah, I recently went on like a
I'm full of sugar.
I went on a Dick Van Dyke kick recently, and like, yeah, I mean, like people kill him for his accent in that movie, but yeah, Mary Poppins is really good. That is
Yes.
solid.
Yeah,
That
Mary Poppins. There you go. Are you happy now?
Well, no, I was happy with Grease. I mean, you could have converted me. I mean, and
No,
then
I'm not. It's
Sound of Music is
honestly
good
like
too. That's a good one.
I not like to be super honest, nothing came to my head for your question. So I'm starting to like pick up like things that I could anything with music in it. I'm like, yeah,
Amazing, amazing. Yeah,
yeah.
like Disney movies totally count. Like, yeah. But yeah, I like Mary Poppins is a Disney movie.
Yeah, no, I think Mary Poppins is probably even more than any Disney movie. That one always stood out to me. She's
Spoonful
so
of Sugar
cool.
is a badass song. I mean,
I
like just you
know.
singing it
And the
again,
Chim
like
Chimney, Chim Chimney, Chim Chim
I,
Chiru.
I,
Those are really good songs.
how do you not love those songs? I mean, those are like iconic. That Spoonful of Sugar, like that is still in my head all the time. Like just to this day, that song is in my head just from stupid. I think when I take medicine or something, like I don't know what
Yeah.
it is, but like I swear I was playing that song in my head within the last month. Like
I know,
probably
it's so
more
good. Well, and just
recently.
Mary Poppins, like just her character, I just love like she's so feminine, but she's also like, she disciplines the kids when she needs to, and she doesn't let anyone step over her. She's like
Badass,
really
straight
good. Yeah,
badass.
exactly. Exactly. She's really cool.
She's a good witch, right? Like she is definitely like
Exactly.
she uses her
Yeah.
powers for good. But definitely not afraid to strike a little discipline when needed.
Exactly. She's a good example of like feminine energy, like in their power.
Yeah. Wow. I can't believe we're gonna end the podcast on Mary Poppins, but like I'm gonna listen to some Regina Spektor after this and channel some Mary Poppins from bopping around the house here. Valerie Ann, it has been an absolute pleasure to speak with you. Hit me again with it's Songs by Val on Instagram, and it's _Valerie_Ann on Twitter.
Underscore Valor. Yes, that's right.
Awesome. I'll just link up. I'll link up the
Yeah, I
Gala
think those
music.
two.
Yeah, I'll link up the Gala
Yeah.
music in the show notes. But thank you so much. This has been an absolute pleasure, and I look forward to talking to you
Thanks,
again.
Sean.
I don't think anyone wants to hear about football/soccer.
Oh man, I'm stoked. I'm in the parking lot of a 7-Eleven in El Cajon, California. man, these are great questions.
I think the answers are probably better.